In this tutorial, I'm going to cover how to build this tactical armor chest piece. The design is pretty simple and you won't need any sort of special tools to build it out. You'll just need foam, a cutting knife, glue, 1-inch straps, and paint. For cutting, I used a telescoping blade and a hobby knife. For glue, I used barge cement. And for paint, I used spray paints and some acrylics. I'll break down when and where what paints I used later in the video. For any other technical questions on building basics, check out the 101 building videos. Cut out the pattern pieces on sheets labeled chest 1 and chest 2. They'll look like this cut out. Don't forget to cut out the registration marks so you can mark them on the foam when tracing the patterns. You will use each pattern piece twice to cut out the left and the right side of the chest. When tracing out the patterns on a foam, make note of which edges have bevel cuts and at what angle to cut them. You'll see the chest bottom and chest side pieces have bevel cuts, but the top chest pieces do not. Now I will heat curve the top chest pieces and glue them together. Here they are glued together. I've already curved the chest bottom pieces some. Now I'll glue them to the bottom of the chest top pieces. Here they are glued in place. I'd recommend when gluing them in, glue them in one at a time, starting from the center out. Now I'll curve the chest side pieces and glue them into place. Now that they're glued in, the next step is to cut out the pattern pieces on the sheet labeled sternum. Use these patterns to cut out pieces that will look like this. Be mindful of the angle of the bevel cuts on the sternum top pattern. Next, I will glue the sternum pieces to the bottom of the chest piece. Here you see them now in place. I also cut out the chest emblem pattern, cut those pieces out of foam, and glued them in place. I would recommend first gluing these two pieces down, followed by the main center pieces, then the outer pieces. Here's the ab base pattern piece. This is made out by cutting out ab base 1 and ab base 2 and taping them together using the X's to line them up. I then use the ab base pattern to cut out the ab base out of foam. Now I will continue by adding details to this piece. Here are layer 1 ab details added, ab top layer 1, ab mid layer 1, ab bottom layer 1. I transferred the registration marks on the ab base pattern to the foam ab base to help lay out and line up layer 1 pieces. Now I will add the ab trim details. To create the trim details, I put together the pattern pieces from sheets labeled ab trim 1 and ab trim 2. Don't forget to do the bevel cut along this edge of the ab trim pieces. When gluing the pieces together, I will line up the registration marks with the top outside corners of the ab pieces to make sure everything lines up properly. Here's the trim added. Now the next step is to make the side waist sections. Using the patterns on the sheet labeled waist side, I cut out the base piece for the left and the right side and the top detail patterns. Now I'll glue them together. With the side pieces glued together, I will now spray 3 to 4 light coats of black Plastidip on all 4 pieces. On the ab section, I have masked off where the chest piece will glue to it and where the straps and layer 2 of the chest pieces will go. For masking the abs off, I just used ab layer 2 pattern pieces and sprayed them with 3M Super 77 adhesive. Since I don't want it to be a permanent bond, I only sprayed the paper patterns and waited a few minutes before laying them on. Here are all the parts primed with 4 coats of Plastidip. You can see the white spots are where it was masked off. I have already cut out the second layer pieces for the abs. Now I will cut and glue on the elastic straps that will be sandwiched between the ab layers 1 and 2 and paint up layer 2 of the abs. Here are the straps glued into place on the side waist pieces and the abs. On the abs, I glued them at a slight angle and 1/2 centimeter from where the top edge of layer 2 will be placed. I also painted the ab layer 2 pieces with 4 light coats of Plastidip, followed by 2 light coats of Rust-Oleum metallic paint and primer, flat soft iron. I did not paint the back of these pieces so the bond will be as strong as possible when gluing them into place. Now I will glue ab layer 2 pieces in place and attach the straps to the side waist pieces. So here are the side waist pieces glued to the straps. For the top straps, the distance between the abs and the side piece is 4 7/8 inches. For the middle straps, it's 3 7/8 inches. And for the lower straps, the distance is 2 5/8 inches. The elastic straps themselves are about 2 inches longer than those lengths, so I had enough material to glue to the foam. So there's roughly 1 inch of elastic sandwiched between the ab layers and 1 inch on the inside of the side waist pieces. These straps at the top here will be glued to the chest piece later. You see here I have masked off the emblem on the chest piece using the original pattern design and some masking tape to fill in where it doesn't cover. Now I will spray it with a flat soft iron. Here's the chest piece painted with 2 light coats. The masking didn't work as well as I'd like, so I brushed a thin coat of flat black acrylic paint on the emblem afterward. Now I will glue the chest to the abs. The 2 pieces will be glued together just at the points where I masked off the ab section when painting. Just here and here on the inside of the chest piece, nothing through here. Here's the chest piece glued to the abs. I have also glued the top elastic straps on the side waist pieces to the chest. This length here is 2.5 inches long. Given how thick layer 2 of the ab pieces are, I'm going to glue the elastic pieces up the sides so when I put the gold buckles on, the whole finish will be more flush with the top. If this doesn't make sense now, it will make more sense once I have these glued further up. Alternatively, you can skip this step of gluing the elastic up the side here by using 2mm foam instead of 6mm foam like I used here. But the strap sandwich between the 2 ab layers will be more noticeable that way. So here's what it looks like with the straps glued up along the sides. I also finished adding the straps to the waist side here and the shoulders. Now I'll add the gold buckles. Buckle patterns 1 and 2. You'll see after cutting out the foam pieces, I split them along one edge so that they can fit over the straps. Once I put them in place, I'll add some glue to the back side of the buckles so they stay secure on the piece. And I used Folk Art Pure Gold acrylic paint to paint them. And here is the finished piece with all the buckles glued into place. You'll notice on the sides there I cut out rectangular pieces from scrap foam to add some small details. And all the straps that I used through the whole entire project are 1 inch wide elastic straps. For this lower part here, on the shoulder strap, this is nylon, but if you want, you could also make it out of elastic.